This is Frog Recap. Today I'm going to explain to you a thriller, Tremor. It's about natives of a small isolated town that have to defend themselves against strange underground creatures who are killing them one by one. Spoilers ahead, but hey, life is good. Valentine Val McKee and Earl Bassett are two good-for-nothing odd-job workers. They usually mend fences and railing, help farmers in a sleepy town called Perfection, and take care of the cows. They have the use of a downtrodden truck and not much money to their names. They live near a dry, dusty town and are friends with most of the villagers. Perfection occupies a small part of dried-out Perfection Valley, surrounded by small mountains except for a county road. Rhonda LeBeck is a university student which investigates earthquakes. She tells them that she's getting weird signs from the seismograph, but there were no earthquakes around. Val likes her, but prefers daydreaming about some playmates, so he doesn't ask the seismologist out. One day, Val and Earl find the town drunkard Edgar on the top of an electricity tower dead, with a rifle in his hands. They start wondering whether he was so afraid of something that he preferred dying up there of thirst. They take him to the doctor, who confirms that Edgar died of dehydration but leaves his death unsolved. A local cattle rancher also talks about how a good number of herds disappeared without a trace. This man playing Farmville did not have a chance. Heading out of town, they stop by old Fred's farm and find he has been decapitated, his head lying half buried under his fedora.
What the hell is going on?
So they drive back to tell people of the unfortunate news that happened to the farmer and there's a killer on the loose. But the construction worker thinks that doesn't make sense, just like the floor that's suddenly bleeding. So one thing happens to another, one gets pulled all the way to be a snack, and one gets smashed to be the snack, and one gets smashed into pudding to be the dessert. So they try to call the popo, the line is not working, so they decide, yo, you have to go to the next town and reach the police. On the road they find it blocked by small landslides. Assuming it was caused by toll roads workers, they get out of the truck to yell at them and find the men's helmets laying on the road full of blood and slime. When they try to leave, Val backs into the small ridge and gets stuck. They eventually shake the truck loose and head back into town. When they get there, they discover a snake-like appendage wound around the rear axle. The shopkeeper, Walter Chang, lends them 2 horses so they can go and tell the county police because all the phone lines are cut and there's no mobile phone network coverage on the area. It's the 1990s. Several people are not worried at all in spite of everything that's going on. One night at the doctor's trailer, where he and his wife live while building a house, the doc hears a strange noise and sees a natural phenomenon like a steam vent spewing from the ground. He goes to investigate, thinking they may have discovered a natural gas pocket. Suddenly, the ground beneath him collapses and he's pulled forcefully down into the hole, screaming in pain while the wife tries to pull him out. She frantically digs into the ground and a snaky head pops out and hisses at her. She retreats to the car, but whatever attacked her husband begins to pull the car under the surface, and the headlights sticking up vertically. The teenager kinda dumb Melvin Block mocks them. Bert and Heather Gummer have built themselves a nuclear refuge and crammed it with heavy weaponry. Disenchanted with the odd job they perform for the townsfolk, Val and Earl decide to collect the meager possessions and head out of town. Val and Earl ride as fast as they can, but their horses are suddenly spooked by some of the snakes. They run away on foot, but the creature runs after them, and then one of the worms get a bite after the horse, called Peta. As they run, they try to jump across a concrete ditch. The creature chasing them suddenly hits the wall of the ditch, killing itself. At that moment, the seismologist shows up again. They discover the creature stinks horribly, is several meters long, and that the snakes were kind of tentacles protruding from its big mouth. Rhonda checks her seismograph, learning there must be at least 3 more of these snake-mounted worm monsters. This dust trail is going to be the sign that a creature is moving underground from now on. Val, Earl, Rhonda run for their dear life and end up to some tall rocks where the creatures cannot climb. Whew. They stay there, but the creatures are very patient. Finally, Rhonda devises a plan. They manage to climb from one rock to the other and jump into their van, being closely followed by the hungry monster. They deduce the creature can feel them because they can make sense of the noises humans make in the form of vibration, either by simply movement or talking. Back at the drugstore, Walter decides to call the monster Graboids. Melvin is still mocking Earl and Val's stupidity, but they realize, oh, there's trouble. They need to save themselves. They go back to the home base, but they realize, hey, there's a little girl outside too. Val has to risk her life to save Mindy, who has been hopping around with her headphone on, and one hero jumps on a car, the other one has to run away, runs in the wrong direction, and the lady gets spaghetti by the worm. So one of the heroes becomes a superhero and saves the lady. So the cooler started making a lot of noise. And I can translate it for you. Here, Wormpy Wormpy. The Graboids destroy the building's foundation. Yeah, these Pokemons evolved too. A Graboid managed to eat Walter, emerging from under the cheap wooden shop floor. When they think they have outwitted the Graboids by taking refuge atop of the roofs of buildings, the Graboids destroy the building's foundation. Through the window, she barrel rolls and she climbs the water tower. The little kid comes out, where are the Wormsy? Is it safe? And the guy on the top is gonna be like, no! And finally the bodies with the big guns has arrived, but they have no ID. They still believe the killer is a human being. They start preparing the ammunition with their wash machine, and the monster immediately go in that direction. Rakadam Bram! They blast in like a boss. So the snake starts coming out of the mouth and they scream, come over here. But right there, covering his man, she said fatality. So he picked up the biggest gun he has in that armory and shot the worm in the mouth, and it was done. Everybody was celebrating, just a little too cringy for me. But then they realized that maybe these worms are a little more intelligent than they thought. They have decided they're gonna demolish these buildings because they're built on sand. They go for every house if possible, and they found the one that is on wheels, and we know that's going to be trouble. So Nestor falls on the sand and he decided, I'm always chill. Guess what? He went into the ground very chill too. So while the next one on the menu was looking at the kid with the face like, we don't pity you. So Val and his good friend have decided, you know what, don't we have like a gangster caterpillar there that can actually move the big metal thing that keep us safe? They decided to distract the monster with a little toy, and when one had to go for the caterpillar, one had to be the hero and be a real hero. By punching him, Val realized, damn, these beasts are super fast, bro. But this intelligent woman decided to break the water tower, and the water was hitting the floor, calling the worms to the buffet. Luckily they reached the caterpillar and they started to pull the whole metal thing. The worm came and said, hey, I came for a buffet, not a soup. They got bamboozled. And the lady jumps on the caterpillar and everybody was ready to be saved by it. They also go to pick up the gummers, which have prepared many weapons. The Graboids are highly intelligent and they prepare a trap for the humans, which succeeds. They wait there surrounded by Graboids. They all have to run to some rocks. They think of another plan. They throw a dynamite to the animals, who swallow everything but are afraid of strong noises, which hurts their sensitivity sense. The dynamite explodes within one of the critters, killing it. They try to do the same trick with the other Graboids, the last one, but the remaining critters spit out the dynamite, and they run away from the safe hidden space. Whoa, who's the idiot now? Val is on open earth, so he is going to be detected and eaten by the surviving Graboids. But the Graboid is fast. But behold, we have a ninja. Behold, we have a ninja detector. They were doubting each other if the worm went away, but luckily they didn't move. But Val thought he was a hero and he started running because he had a great idea. The idea was, I'm going to go at the wall and I'm gonna jump last minute. But the Graboid can't stop because of distraction of the last dynamite blast and falls from the cliff onto the void. And Curl coaxes Val into asking Rhonda out. Val tries to fight it, but Rhonda is a university student with a brilliant future in front of her, and he has no prospect. Earl tells him she's an independent woman. So we reach the end, ladies and gentlemen. Life is good, and see you guys next time. Peace.